So we are live at Klausin Live, where I interviewed a leader in the industry who made a big impact or still making a big impact on other agents. And today I have the honor to welcome the one and only Jay Kinder. So let's get right started with our intro here. So Jay, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you very much. I know you since, I think it was around 2010 when it was called Kinder Reese.
Yep.
And I bought one of your listing presentations. Still remember that.
Yep.
And not much later, I think I was at a NAEA boot camp in Dallas where we met you again.
Yep.
And even though I'm a foot taller than you, I always was looking up to you, and I said, "Wow, this guy has it made." So give us the story. Tell our viewers the Jay Kinder story.
Oh yeah. So I'll try not to. I'll give you the shortened version. You know, it's funny. Like when you go back and tell the story, you only tell all the high points and never the low points. But the thing that I think most people probably learn for is the lessons learned along the way. But long story short, been in the industry 25 years. Kind of followed my dad's footsteps into the business. He had more of a property management company at the time. And so I didn't really grow up around, him being gone showing properties and stuff like that. But I did, grow up around real estate and all that kind of stuff. And so I didn't, and all I knew enough to think that I didn't want to get into real estate. That was basically kind of what my takeaway was. I was like, he's kind of always in a bad mood when we go on vacation and stuff like that. I don't think I really want to do this. It doesn't look like he's having that much fun. But no, it's a hard business to leave. And so I actually saw, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Most kids, when you graduate high school, you don't know what you want to do. And I was one of those. Went to college for a couple of years, wasn't feeling anything that was really reaching out to me. And one day I went to the office and was getting paid. My dad used to have me mowing all his rental property, and I was getting paid $400 or something like that day. And another guy was getting like 5,000 something. And he didn't look like he broke a sweat that day. And so, I said, well, what exactly did Rusty over here do today to make $5,000? So he sold this house over and such. And I said, well, if I could do that once a month, I think I'd be all right, And so I saw the opportunity in real estate, and didn't realize how hard it was going to be. With all my friends were still doing keg stands, so I didn't have a sphere of influence when I started. And so, just, started trying to figure out, my biggest challenge, which I think today is still most people's challenge is how do you find and get customers and build, really build a business. And so, after years and years of, spending a lot of money, buying every course, going to every event, trying to get around people that were having success, that were willing to share with me, started having quite a bit of success and built a pretty good sized business, selling 500 plus homes a year. Ended up being, number 2 in the world for Coldwell Banker for a number of years. And, ultimately went independent, started a coaching company, which we started that in 2005. You came to one of our very first event was 2010. What a superstar panel we had there too. It was a great group of people.
Oh, yeah.
And, a lot of the top people in the industry, and had really a lot of success in helping agents kind of build really big businesses, kind of like I had done. And, and it's not always the right thing for everyone, but for those who wanted to build a big business, that's what we helped a lot of people do. And, did that since till this day. We still have NAEA and the organization we use to train and equip agents to sell more houses, and moved over to eXp in 2017. And man, it's been a lot of fun being a part of this journey here at eXp. That's for sure.
Right. I feel we all guilty of buying tons of seminars and many end up in the shelf, and you never look back. I remember back in the 90s doing a 1-year Craig Proctor coaching and it was pretty interesting, but on the other side, it was just so intensive and so big that uh, starting out was very difficult. And when I joined NAA, at least it talked to me because it was practical, starting from listing presentations and buyer's agency, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And that made a lot more sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, going forward, you did, I think, 2017, you made the switch. Before that, you had your own brokerage in
Yep.
Dallas, I think,
Yep.
right? Or two of
Yeah,
them.
we did. We had actually started a brokerage from scratch in 2016. In that year, in 2017, we started at some point in 2016, but in 2017, it did, from scratch, we did 272 transactions. And this was with me, neither me nor Mike being in production. So we were basically, bringing agents into the brokerage, and we were doing what we would have done for ourselves, for them, from a marketing perspective, lead generation, ISA, making the call, scheduling appointments, and really just helping agents stay face to face with clients. Our strategy has been and always will be, getting listings. If you get the listings, as everybody knows today, you feel it probably a lot more today in the industry. If you have listings, they sell. And so, that was always our strategy, because you could create, a marketplace where the phone rings with people coming, to do business with you for who you are in the marketplace. And, buyers are easy to get when you have listings. And so that was just always the strategy we used. And we did that. That brokerage was doing really well. And, our vision was to expand that nationwide. And we recognized, thankfully, that the problem that most brokerages have, the ones that we thought we solved, which was technology and the tools and the training, but the scalability of that was the hardest part. And, moving into new marketplaces, opening offices, setting up legal entities and structures, and all that kind of stuff was really heavy to do. And so eXp was just a better platform that was already built, that we could do what we were already doing on the platform of eXp. And I think, it took a little bit to get me to slow down long enough to look at the opportunity for what it was. But once we did finally do that, we recognized that this wasn't us not following our vision. This was us using this platform to accomplish our vision. And so that's what made us, make the jump in 2017, and been a best decision we've ever made.
It's kind of interesting because I was first approached, I think, in 2015, and I said, well, leave me alone.
Yeah.
I'm a broker. Why should I do anything else, right?
Right.
And then in 2016, again, somebody called. It wasn't really a lot, but and in 2017 really is when I shouldn't say the light went on, but it was you who joined in 2017, and I saw that because I'm following you and through NAA. I said, well, Jay Kinder, Michael Reese have an eXp logo. And at the same time, I referred the deal over to Sarasota, and there's a bigger brokerage, and I see he has an eXp logo, and I said, hey, hold on. And then Adam Bailey joined, and who dealt with my son. I said, I got to look into that, but daily life just caught up, and it was 2018 when somebody else, I don't even remember. Oh yeah, sure, Mike, our coach. He said something about it, and Brian Moses, who I know very well.
Yep.
He mentioned something about it. I said, you know what? I maybe need to look into that. and that was the first time I opened my gate, like Brent Gove says. I opened the gate and let somebody explain that to me. And I went online and just looked it up. And when I saw you joining it, I said, hold on, what happened here?
Yeah.
Why did somebody like Jay Kinder, Michael Reese, change it? And use that scalability, and that maybe most agents wouldn't understand that if they're single agents, right?
Right.
Explain a little bit more why you thought that you can scale so much better with moving your business to the eXp platform than expanding yourself.
Yeah. So what I mean by that is we were actually already in multiple states. So we were in Texas, and we were in Atlanta, Georgia, and we were already running against the challenges of setting up offices, setting up legal entities for mortgage, for title, for the real estate company, a holding company. And so we had all of this, like I don't even know how many companies we had all together, but we had all of it. And it was the word I used to describe it is it was heavy, right? Like there was a lot to it, and there was a lot of legal, there's a lot of structure, and it was slow. You had to kind of grow slow. There was no advantages to try to move any faster because growth would just suck more cash, right? So you could only expand into marketplaces kind of somewhat slowly. And we're like, okay, well, we know what the next 10 years would look like if we do it this way. But then, the idea of, well, what if we use this platform that's already in place? They weren't in all 50 states, but they were close. And we were able to leverage their business model that added things that we didn't have. And to be quite honest, I think the challenge we would have ultimately still had was at some point, recruiting and retention becomes the challenge of your brokerage. And really it kind of always is and always has been. And it just gave us another angle with the stock and ownership piece, and anytime you're a brokerage and you're looking at eXp, you're thinking that you better be thinking through the lens of, is this better for my agents? And so, is this better for my agents having stock in a publicly traded company? Yeah. Is it better for my agents to have passive income? Yeah. Is it better for my agents to have all this access to training and an office that's not having to, that doesn't force me to open bricks and mortar? It doesn't preclude me from doing it. I can still use brick and mortar, but it didn't exist in the model. And so it was just like, it kept checking all the boxes. And then when you looked at the opportunity and how, you don't have to buy franchises or locations, there's no parameters, you can recruit anywhere in the world. It just was like, man, this is like the most brilliant idea we'd ever heard. And it's like, if we're taking our ego and putting it aside, the ego side of me wanted to, compete against it. Right. But the smart thing to do was like, why would you do that? Like literally, we're going to be getting compensated to use this platform. It's not going to cost us anything. Like that's,
Yep.
And I think until you get through all the mental gymnastics of that and do the math and realize that the only reason you wouldn't do it is your ego. Then you really just have to say, am I a smart person or am I a dumb person? Right. And it becomes easier because nobody wants to do something that doesn't make any sense. And so for us, it just didn't make any sense not to do eXp. And Glenn Sanford created the most brilliant business model I've ever seen.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I'm pretty sure, I think everybody has a different situation and comes from a different place, but everybody can grow into this in a way what is not possible anywhere else. I think,
right.
And today, I think 4 years later, for me, it would be a very different reason to join eXp than it was 4 years ago, because I think the best thing that ever happened to me was health insurance with eXp. Yeah. I think I had health insurance before, but I went through a really bad, the last 6 months actually. I had an accident.
Oh no.
Overseas, broke my hip and all kind of stuff. And they took care of everything. And I just say they saved my life, right?
Right.
But again, other people have other reasons why they could join or not join. I think everybody needs to make up his own mind. I think the biggest issue here is that people are not open to look at something because they all have the belief, well, it's only about commission split, nothing else. And while this has nothing common with any other brokerage. But anyway, so it's been 5 years for you. If you look back, any regrets? Anything you said you would have done better? Anything worse?
Well, I would have called everybody I knew. I think, I do have this belief and have ever since I've been here that, at some point everybody's going to come over and probably, most of, I had a lot of relationships that are at eXp today that were very close friends of mine that I never reached out to. I assumed that they watched what we were doing, and if they were interested, they would have reached out to me, as opposed to me, I should have done a better job of just checking in on folks and having them at least look at the opportunity and being more persistent with that. Obviously there's that, and I wish I'd have moved over sooner. But I think, we joined at a time where, there was only 5,000 agents in the whole company. And so, it was a little riskier. No one knew who eXp was. You talk to anybody, no one knew who it was. A lot of what we were betting on was like, we think this is a better model, but if it's not, at least the value we can add should make it to where people would never want to leave, right? Like that was kind of our mindset. And so, come to find out, everybody loves the company. And, and even though there was some things weren't perfect, the onboarding took 2 weeks, there was always, things that weren't perfect during that time period. But, what we bought into early on, and the reason we made the decision to move over was because we believed in the leadership of eXp and still do this day. The people, we were betting, we were definitely betting on that horse of this business model, but what we were really betting on was the jockey. And Glenn Sanford is just really a brilliant businessman, and he's agent centric. Today the models that are out there, people don't realize it. I mean, you'll go listen to the Compass earnings call right now that they just had, and they're talking about raising, taking back 1% from the agent's commission, and making that part of their strategy to monetize. They're trying to take from the agent. They're not trying to help the agent. Right. And so, I don't know, Keller Williams has always been, prior to us, the most agent centric company. But I think where you want to be, especially in a time where the markets in most places are going to start to shift and be a little different than the way they've looked the last couple of years, I think you want to be in the place where the founder is running the company and has, the founders and the agents have the majority of ownership, because that means the decisions that are getting made are going to be in alignment with that. And so we're just, it's a brilliant thing when it comes down to it. And, I think we're talking about it from the context of the opportunity side, which is one, it's one huge pillar of this business opportunity to be at eXp. But like at the end of the day, like, we're helping people sell a ton of real estate like that. That's what we do. And, that's what's different here is, you just got built-in mentorship, whereas you had to, and I had to fly around the country, go to these masterminds, join these coaching groups, and spend all this money to learn things. Now those things are being provided to us through the network of eXp agents that all have an incentive for us to succeed and have an incentive for the company to do well. And so when the stock does well, we all do well together. And so it's just a dynamic that doesn't exist anywhere else.
Yeah. And I agree with that. And quite frankly, one thing I really still amazes me is the collaboration between the agents and the support you get from each other. I think with tools like Workplace, etc. It's just so different to any other company, because everywhere else you feel like you need to pull on somebody out of somebody's nose to get an answer, and here you put your question on Workplace and you get 20 answers in about 15 seconds. Everybody wants to help, and I love that. Which brings me to one question: is collaboration. I think I hear a lot that lately people say, you're just an attraction company, you're an MLM company, all you do is you want to attract agents. And quite frankly, I just saw that we became the number one, I think, last month in closed transactions. And so I can only say, if you get number one in closed transactions, you need to ask yourself, how does that happen?
Right. Yeah. I think it's for the longest time, because most the conversations where that would come up was I use try to nicely say that's just somebody who's not they're uneducated. And I don't mean uneducated as they're not smart. They haven't been informed to what this really is. And so and that's they should own that. They didn't do their homework. If they did their homework, they would know, but they just don't know. So they would say, well, what do I think it looks like? It looks to me like it's like this, or whatever, something familiar to them. And so that's usually why I hear that, when I hear that. And then once people understand, they don't even understand, what network marketing is. Well, network marketing there's nothing wrong with network marketing. It's just it's a way to take a product to market. And if you understand the way they take products to market in network marketing is through word of mouth, and there's compensation, a multi-tier compensation for the way those products are brought to market. Well, we're not selling pills, potions, and lotions here. So, and at the end of the day, saying that we're just a recruiting model would be saying that we're like every other real estate company, because every other real estate company is a recruiting model, every one of them. And so the difference is there's not any compensation and alignment for the agent. The agent never wins in any other model. The only one that wins is the regional owners, the owners of the overall brand, and the the broker owners of each franchise and each location. And then those people are still locked into their territories, and they can't do anything outside of their territories. Well, at eXp, everybody has the opportunity to bring over anybody and get compensated individually on those folks that you bring over. And it just created an opportunity where, as agents, when we like another agent in a transaction and we tell them about our company, if they're not happy where they're at, or if they're, not having the success they want, there's not really an incentive for us to do that. Well, at eXp there is. And so, that's not a bad thing. It's a new revenue stream that got added to your business model. Unless you don't like money and revenue, then, this is just another, you don't have to do anything. You don't ever have to recruit anybody or don't ever tell anybody if you love it. Keep it to yourself. But, I think it just comes down to, assuming that you're wrong in your thinking, because, and I'll be honest, I thought I was pretty well up to speed with what possibilities there could be in a business model in real estate that would do well. And I never saw this coming. And so, and I did quite a bit of research and stuff, and I still missed it. Like two people told me about it, still didn't see it. Finally, I sat down and spent another hour and it clicked. And I was like, wow, like this is going to change. This is going to change everything. And so,
which it did.
It did.
You went from your, I should say, small brokerage in comparison to eXp to you're leading an organization today of thousands of agents. I think you probably never dreamed about that, I guess.
Yeah, no, it was bigger than our vision. Even our vision for our brokerage was, and it would have made us the number 2 or 3 independent brokerage in the country. 2,000 agents doing 100 transactions each was the vision. And that was, by, we were going to do that by December 27th, 2024. That was the vision. Now here we are in 2022 at eXp, with only 4 years in, almost, 4.5. And, we're at collectively over 10,000 agents, almost 11,000 agents. So, was this a better platform? Absolutely it was. And did I have to do all the work, hire all the people, manage and lead 2,000 employees, which is, I think we're over that, over 2,000 employees now. I didn't have to do any of those things. I got to do what I actually enjoyed doing, which is helping people, working with agents and helping them with their business and, really do the things that I enjoyed doing and the things that I was really good at, as opposed to, being, having to manage and lead, the organization to execute on all the things that Glenn has to do on a daily basis. Of course, Glenn's got a lot more freedom now than me and got a lot more money for it too. But, this has created, an opportunity that was bigger than anything that I could have done.
Right. Now I was talking about collaboration, and then I'm going to wrap this up. If people join eXp today, let's say with me, they still have, and they still want to talk to you. I think there's nothing prohibiting that. No. We all help each other,
right?
And I think there's a big misunderstanding sometimes that we work together. We want to move together forward because we all benefit from it, right?
Yep, 100%. That's a special piece of the model that I felt like even I remember this. I always remember this one time I was walking through a RE/MAX office in my hometown, which were my competitors. But I remember that I had gone on a listing appointment, and there was 2 agents that were competing with me. One of them had the listing at RE/MAX. The other one was another agent at RE/MAX going out on it as an expired along with me. So literally right across the office from each other, they were competing against each other. Like, not just me versus them, but it was them competing against each other. Right. And I just thought, man, that's gotta suck, like being in that office, because like, you leave your door unlocked, somebody might come in there and steal your notepad, or whatever. And it just kind of goes to the whole downside of the industry all these years, is that there's really nobody there that's focused on helping you succeed, that has an alignment to your interest, an interest in your success. And, right. When we at eXp all have an interest in the company's success and the agents that are within it, what makes that company successful. And so, yeah, it's a unique piece that really changed everything.
So I know the one line you had is, if you've seen it, you can't unseen it, which I love.
Yeah.
If you could tell one thing to the viewers, what advice would you give them today?
Yeah, I mean, the advice that I would give anybody is if you want to be successful, the more people that I've followed that were successful and helped me become successful, and the people that I've helped become successful, it's all been because we've modeled somebody that was successful. Like there's you're trying to figure it out on your own is usually not how it happens. You usually get a lot of help along the way, and find people that are at where you want to be, and then more importantly, have a track record, not just a track record of success, but a track record of helping others succeed too. That's a good evidence that they have some systems in place for how they got to where they're at. And so, look for people that are want to help you and that have reached a level that you want to attain because they've learned some things you haven't had to learn yet. And that's how you get, that's the shortcut. That's the easiest way to get there that I've found. And within that, I think you're going to find that there's a better cost, a better way that's cheaper by partnering with agents at eXp as opposed to trying to go and hire and pay for masterminds and coaching and all these different groups and stuff. That's the way we did it, and you don't have to do that today. I think that's we just want to help people become more successful. I don't care whether you want to attract agents to eXp or you want to build a coaching business or you want to sell more real estate. Like we can help with all of those things, and that's if you're hungry, that's what I would tell you to do is get curious and inquisitive and ask questions and try to and assume that you're wrong in your thinking, because you're probably wrong in your thinking. It's hard to say that, it's hard to hear that, and it's even harder to say it to yourself, I think. But like just assume that whatever you think is wrong and be open-minded, and then look at it again and try to say, okay, well, if I was going to do this, how would I do it? What would it look like? Because it's rare, very rare that I talk to someone that their situation wouldn't be better at eXp. I mean, it's extremely rare. And certainly if they're trying to grow.
Okay. Well, Jay, I really appreciate you being here. It was absolutely awesome. By the way, are you going to shareholders?
Oh, absolutely. I will be there.
Absolutely. So yes. I'm pretty sure I'll see you there.
Yep.
Thank you so much for coming, and I'll see you soon.
You got it.
To all the viewers, if you have any questions about what we talked about, feel free to contact me at joinwithklaus.com, or if you have questions for Jay, contact me. I'll put you in touch with Jay. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Have a great day.